Hey you guys, welcome back to another episode of Broadway Time at Carmine. Today I'm here with my favorite, Christopher Sieber, who's currently playing Ernest Menville and Death Becomes Her. So without further ado, let's get on to the interview. Hey you guys, today I'm here with one of my absolute favorites. I'm here with Christopher Sieber.
You're just saying that.
No, I mean it, Chris. Chris, how are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
Come on, it's a good day to be on Broadway, right?
It's a great day to be on Broadway.
We're Carmine's.
I mean,
Did you see this?
do you see this?
They just brought it.
They just brought this out. It's huge.
And
I mean,
my eyes are, whoa, wow. That's it. And the bread. Who doesn't love bread?
Who doesn't love bread?
Come on.
I mean, audiences might have seen you in shows like Beauty and the Beast,
Yep.
Triumph of Love,
Yep.
Into the Woods, Thoroughly Modern Millie, Spamalot,
Yeah.
Shrek the Musical,
Jeez.
La Cage aux Folles,
God.
Pippin,
That's enough.
Matilda, Chicago, The Prom, Company, and now Death Becomes Her. You're playing.
exhausting.
You've done a lot of Broadway.
I have.
That's kind of.
I was talking to somebody just the other day, and it's odd, because I normally never look back.
Yeah.
I just kind of look forward always, and when you do peek back, you're like, I did all that.
I
It's
know.
Crazy.
Even looking at the list, I was like, Chris has really done a lot.
I've done a lot, but I don't feel like I don't feel like I have. I actually, it's funny because I guess I approach every new thing as the new thing. So I don't, I don't like. Well, I did that. So
Right.
that list is crossed off. I can, that I did that. So let's do something else.
Right.
Let's do something fun.
Right.
I guess
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
But that's that. So yeah, I never really look back. I was like look forward and see how I can make things funny, real. Number one,
Of course.
genuine, and that's what's important.
But you've taken on the role of Ernest Menville.
I have.
Talk to me about playing Ernest. How have you made the role your own? How have you made Ernest Chris in Chris Ernest?
Well, you have to bring a lot of yourself in everything you do, even if it's a crazy, over-the-top crazy like Farquaad or something like that. But you really do have to ground it in yourself. You always have to put yourself in there. Ernest Menville at Death Becomes Her, we had the great template of the movie,
Right.
which is fantastic, Bruce Willis. But and Jennifer had Goldie Hawn, and Megan had who that Meryl.
What's her name?
Meryl?
What's her name again? Streep?
Whatever.
Yeah.
She's never been heard of again. And then Isabella Rossellini with Michelle. So we have the template of that, but we were lucky enough that Marco Panett was able to take the source material and just kind of like, okay, that's great. We have the story. Let's make this our own. And throughout the process of workshops and readings and whatnot, Christopher Catelli, our director and choreographer, and Noel Carey and Julia Madison were so collaborative during the whole thing. And so we were allowed to just explore and play. It was basically play. Yeah. And then it turned into a Broadway show. It was crazy. It was a lovely experience. It still is a lovely experience. We're having a great time. We knew it was funny.
Yeah.
And we knew it was going to be funny, but after a while you forget that it's funny especially when you're in rehearsal, you don't hear the laughs anymore because everyone's heard the jokes 3,000 times.
Yeah.
But when we did it, finally got in front of an audience in Chicago at the Palace Theater, it was like something was just reborn. It's just astonishing. And there's very few times when you ever get a feeling, and the last time I ever had this feeling, it was like this is going to be something, was Spamalot.
Really?
Where we were in Chicago.
Right.
And the first preview, it was crazy. Was crazy. People.
I mean,
throwing
audiences
babies in the
love
air. Yeah,
Spamalot.
I know. So that feeling is a lot like this here,
Yeah.
where I was like, this is going to be something. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's crack into this.
Why not?
If you guys don't know, Chris and I go way back to the days of KCBBC,
yeah,
Christian Comedy
Christian-
Boot Camp
yeah.
in Oklahoma. So that's where we originally met.
Yeah, but it was on video.
It was on video the first year.
because it was pandemic, right?
Pandemic time, and I was singing Magic to Do.
That's right.
You were teaching
Yeah.
from your home.
Was Christian with who was it? It was Marissa Jarrett Winoker and I.
Yeah.
We're teaching monologue classes.
Oh my God, what a time.
Via Zoom or some sort of Zoom. I think it was just Zoom.
Right.
But yeah, we had to teach we had to teach kids how to do monologues, and they would do their monologues in front of a camera. And Marissa and I would just break it down like, who do you want to be in this, and who are you, and who are you talking to, why are you talking, and all those questions you do when you're doing
a monologue,
acting questions. And some of them, I will just say, be prepared, kids. Okay, there were a few of the classmates, and I understand it was pandemic, it was weird, it was a weird time, you're at home,
strange.
but they didn't come prepared with a monologue. She said, I just pulled this off. And the internet. And I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll make this a cold reading exercise. Why not? So they did, and we did. And I was like, okay, so do you know anything about this? And she said, no, not at all. And I said, okay, well, that's a good thing. Okay, so this girl, I would just say, she was not appropriate for the monologue that she did, at all. At all.
Can you give us a little bit more?
Yes, I will. She just liked the sound of the title. This, I think she was 15 years old, and she did, this is the word she used, fences. And Marissa and I, as she's doing this monologue, we're just going like, it's totally springtime for Hitler, because we're like, you are so not right for this.
All right.
You are so not right for this. And we just finished, but she's doing, if you're familiar with the play, there's the son who's basically berating Dad. Do you know who August Wilson is? And she said, no, I just like the title. August Wilson is one of the greatest playwrights of our time.
Right.
And he documents the African American experience decade to decade very well, in an incredible way. Amazing. His plays are timeless in a way, they're in their time. Anyway.
Right.
I would like you to read that now. I would like you to read the play.
This son is speaking to his father.
And rethink about what you're about to do. And she was like, oh no. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, oh no.
I know. So it was a good lesson, though. It was a good lesson for her, and it was a good lesson for the class. I was like, guys, know what you're doing, the material. Make sure it's appropriate to you.
Let's try the Frankie Blue Eyes, shall we? All right,
Frankie
cheers.
Blue Eyes, cheers. Oh, wow.
I told you.
That's actually good.
It's really good.
Oh, wait, it's tart. It's almost like a sweet tart. It's like a blueberry sweet tart.
Carmine's team is tired of me ordering it because I get it every time. Every single time. It's so good.
That is good.
Yeah. I know.
I'll need the recipe.
You've done a lot of special Broadway, Chris. I want to know, what is special about the theater for you? Why do you perform?
Oh, wow, deep. Why do I perform? Because I have no other skills, number one. Number two, I like to create, and I really like to find out who people are when it's written on paper, and like I said earlier, bringing a lot of yourself into something you're doing.
Right.
But to break down as to why, I really like to get into the words. I really like to get into why and who and what and all of those really boring actory questions. Actually, sometimes in a rehearsal room, I was like, okay, so wait, let's talk about what is this, and why would he or she, why would they, I really like to get into that, and sometimes I bore myself with as far as the acting, but I need to know the information.
Right, in order to play the role.
Well, yeah, and the more you know, of course, about who this person is, the more you can be that person.
Yeah.
But you're always you, but you've got this added persona that you put on.
Absolutely.
But the idea is, the more you know, the more you can disappear as, like Christopher Sieber will disappear.
Right.
Even though on Broadway you're just, you're Christopher Sieber playing Ernest Menville, but the suspension of disbelief, or belief, I guess, or whatever you want to call it, that's the thing. It's like when you're buying it, when you're selling it as good as you can, the audience buys everything you say.
Absolutely.
And if it doesn't work out that way, then your performance doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to believe you.
Exactly. So, playing a role like Miss Trunchbull,
Yeah.
or playing Lord Farquaad, what is that process for that then? Because you kind of have to be not a crazy person, but you have to see it through the lens.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, Trunchbull was, and you can also, there's so many things that happen in your life that you can draw from. And I tell people this all the time. Pay attention. Pay attention to the world, because the people around you, the human zoo, humans are weird people. Humans are weird creatures. We're
Truly.
weird.
We
You
are.
know, we do weird stuff.
Right.
And
We
pay attention to that.
we sit at tables and talk
And talk.
eat
and
for
talk
a camera.
and this is weird. No.
Very weird.
That is whatever.
Right.
But, you know, I had a teacher her name was Miss Erickson in first grade. And I am not kidding you. If I had a picture of her today, I would show you. She looks exactly like Agatha Trunchbull and Matilda. I'm not kidding. But instead of the brown, she wore all black. Yeah, she wore
Oh my
all black.
God.
And well, Trunchbull actually had somewhat of a figure.
Right.
You know, she was like, brr, brr. But Miss Erickson was like a column of person. She was big and round. She was like a bollard, or what do you put those things in front, in front of banks?
Right.
This tiny head with the bun. With the
She was Miss
She
Trunchbull.
was like so tight, but it was all black all down.
Was she nice?
No, that's where it came from.
Yeah.
That's where it came from, and also the idea, because she would go around and flick you on the back of the head. Oh, she was evil. Oh, she was just.
Oh my
evil.
goodness.
And the worst thing, you'll love this. Mm-hmm. The worst thing is, we had music class in the classroom because I went to a very, very small elementary school.
Okay.
And she didn't like this sound.
No clapping.
No clapping. Or snapping.
No snapping.
So whenever you clapped, you had to go. No, wait. Shh, shh. The entire class. Imagine.
I'm gonna come to the show in the front row. When you come out, I'm just gonna go.
Can you imagine? No, like she hated this. She hated this.
This
sound.
was first grade.
I know. It's where you're a kid and you're supposed.
It's where you're supposed to like become
reckless
somebody.
Oh. Anyway, so that was easy. So
Right.
looking at Trunchbull and seeing, I was like, oh my God, it's Miss Erickson.
Right.
But the fun part about that too was like going on the experience of Farquaad, because Farquaad was the most evil person, but he loved every second of it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he knew it. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
there are evil characters where they don't know they're evil.
Right. Kind of like those ladies in Death Becomes Her.
They don't know they're evil.
No.
Though they're just in a fight with each other and the collateral damage around.
Right.
But Farquaad he knew exactly what he was doing, and he loved every minute of it. And the characters that don't know they're bad, like Agatha Trunchbull, she didn't really know she was bad.
Right.
She just had a way things were supposed to be.
Exactly.
And nobody followed her rules because she's insane.
She's crazy. Exactly.
So, but playing those characters, the big over the top. Excuse me, I'm talking with my mouth full.
Oh, good.
The cool thing about it is you can do anything you want. As long as it sometimes makes sense. Most of the time makes sense. It is your world, and it's your choice, and that's the coolest thing. You can do whatever you want. Go for it.
Do it.
And make it big. If it doesn't make sense and if people don't buy it, like I was saying earlier, if people don't buy it and what you're selling, they're not going to believe it. But there is still a way that even over a crazy over-the-top character like Lord Farquaad, it was nuts.
Right.
But in that same sense, when you're so big, you can get away with anything. Because
As you did.
It's such an outrageous character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Truly.
Agatha Trunchbull is similar to that, but a little more evil.
Exactly. All right.
Wow, that was a long-winded question.
Considering your extensive Broadway career,
Extensive.
how does Death Becomes Her compare to your other projects? And what really drew you to Death Becomes Her?
Well, what drew me, it was funny how one goes in one's career. When I first started, I would go to every single audition ever.
Right.
And I said yes, and I have a yes problem. I still say yes to everything. Because it's cool, because you never know. But
Yeah.
when I was just a little older than you, because you're 16 now, right?
16, yes.
Yeah, when I was 18, I would move to New York.
Wow.
And I would go to every single audition. I had no idea what I was doing. None.
Right.
But I went in, and at each time, 1% better, knowing and figuring out what this world is. 'Cause
Exactly.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I auditioned like crazy, and that's when I met casting directors, and that's when I met writers, directors. I met people, but that took decades. That took decades to do, to build upon.
Yeah.
Which then comes into people starting to trust you. Your casting directors, your writers, your directors, all those people start to trust you and know that you're consistent and know that you can handle material.
Exactly.
That's when things really start happening easier. It seems easier. It's never easy, but
Right.
they start asking for you rather than you going into audition.
An audition.
Because they know.
Offer only over here.
Well, no, I not offer. I will audition. I have no problem with that.
Really?
I have no problem with that. I will tell you that I don't think I'm very good at it, but I will go in. It's fine. If they want to see me, I'm happy to do it. I am not one of those people. It's like, no, I will, because they want to make sure, and they want to be sure, and I don't want to waste my time, and I don't want to waste their time. But as it progresses, people start asking you can you read this material for me? Can you look at this? Can I have you just sing this song, see how it sounds? And that's how everything for me kind of works right now, is I just have made a ton of great friends.
Yeah.
Incredibly talented. I mean, I cannot believe some of these are my friends. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so amazing and so grateful for it. But that comes with decades of doing this.
Right. And you're good at it, I must say.
Well, I didn't know anything. And like, if somebody's out there starting out, I'm not really more talented than you. I've just been doing this longer. I really have. I've just been doing it longer, so totally. I know what I'm doing.
At this point.
Sort of.
Right.
Whatever. But that, as far as that goes, that's what happened with Death Becomes Her. So to answer your question now. It was my friend Marco Panette, who wrote our book,
right.
Is a friend of mine for 30 years. And he has produced every TV show from the 90s on. And when I did my first sitcom, that's where we met. And he said, hey, we should do something together. 30 years later.
That something.
Yeah. 30 years later, he says, hey, I've got this thing. Would you like to read it? We're just doing a reading and just, play. I was like, sure. And it happened to be Death Becomes Her. And it was Ernest Menville. And Jennifer Simard was already part of it. And she was just kind of, we were just picked to do the reading. It wasn't like cast.
It was just like, we're just going to try this.
We're just going to read it.
Right.
And then the first time we did it, and Nicole Scherzinger was Viola Van Horn.
Okay.
Who Michelle Williams is playing now.
Yeah.
And so we did this reading, and it's just music stands in front of, that's it. There's no set, there's no nothing. We just kind of know the music, and we kind of know the words, but everything is right in front of us.
Right.
We stopped the show. It's a 29-hour, we stopped the show 3 or 4 times during a reading. That never, ever happens.
Not during a reading.
No. So as far as how it came to me, it literally kind of just said, want to do something? That's how it happened.
And you were like, let's do it.
And then we clearly, because Jennifer and I are so close. And
I mean, that's your show wife
that's
forever.
My show wife forever. And Megan and I have been friends for a long time, but never worked together. But we know how each other worked. And so it just, the chemistry just kind of came together like that right away. And that's, you're like,
how wonderful is that?
Here's a Broadway show.
And now you get to play Ernest?
I get to play Ernest 8 times a week.
How great is that?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I have a few more for you, Chris.
Okay.
But let's take a bite, shall we?
Let's take a bite.
It's just staring at us. So, how do you prepare for a humorous show like Death Becomes Her? How do you get yourself ready to play Ernest, and then also being on stage with people like Megan Hilty and Jennifer Simard? I mean, all three of you, and Michelle, you guys are all so funny. Everybody on stage, including the ensemble, everybody involved in the operation is so funny. How do you not break?
Well, because I think we don't break on stage because we have already worked through what the comedy is. But when it comes down to it, the only thing that will normally break me, or pretty much anyone on that stage, because we've worked through things so much, the only time we'll ever break is if something is just ridiculous that is out of our control.
Right.
Because we control all the timing of the show as far as what we do. Anyway.
Right.
So if there's Mike Nichols used to say, surprise your fellow actors, and just to keep each other alive.
Yeah.
And it's so minuscule. I mean, it's so small. If you say a word a different way, just like teeny tiny little details like
things,
that,
yeah,
for your fellow actor on stage, because it could, a show is a long running show. It
can become autopilot, right?
Yeah, but you make it new every day by just doing those little tiny things. And there, as you know, as a performer, it's like there's little adjustments every single performance.
Right.
It's never the same. And the audience is never the same. But when you tell the truth and you are genuine in your part, whether you're doing drama or comedy, it's the same thing. You're still telling the story. And yes, the story is hilarious, and the story is ridiculous, and the
Yes.
story is absurd. But again, you have to believe it all.
You have to believe
So
it
you
every
have
bit.
to live in that world.
Right.
And so once you get past the crazy, because you have all this rehearsal time to giggle and laugh, and there are times in rehearsals where we just stop rehearsal because it's just so funny.
Right.
It's just so silly. But the less you react, you're very silly people. That's what we did with Spamalot. You're very silly people doing very serious things. So that's the idea. And you play it straight. You always play it straight.
Yeah.
So Brooks and I we almost made our Broadway debut together in a show called Paper Moon back in 1993. And he and I, he is one of the funniest people of all time.
Right.
But during Prom, that whole show was kind of written improvised. Bob Martin wrote the book, and we added to it, and they let us. We just kind of improvised things that ended up in the show. There's so much of us in the Prom,
And you can tell.
and you can tell, and it looks improvised.
Right.
I mean, the show when you watched us do it, it looked like we were just making it up.
Right.
Because it was rehearsed that way. Because we would just like "Bah, bah, bah, bah," and just all of a sudden it was.
I mean,
the lines were in the
you
script.
have Brooks Asmanskis,
Yeah, right,
Beth Level,
Angie Schwarr,
and Angie
Josh
Schwarr,
Lehman,
Josh Lehman, and you.
Michael
That
Potts, too.
Michael Potts, that's like
Yeah.
a dream team.
Crazy fun. But Brooks, every now and then, because Trent, my character Trent Oliver, is one of the most boring people on the face of the planet, and that's the way I liked him. I liked him created. And so I would say things that were funny, but the audience wouldn't think so, and it would just. But Trent, in his way, would just think he's so brilliant.
Because he also went to Juilliard.
He went to Juilliard, but he's also a former member of Actors Equity, so something bad happened.
Right.
But so Brooks would lean over to me and says, "You're losing them," or like, "You're ruining it."
Oh my gosh.
So that was during the show, and then during Spamalot too. Like David Hyde Pierce and I would be huddled at the feet of God. There was a scene where the big feet come down, and we'd be, hiding at the feet of God, and we giggled for a year and a half in that show.
I can only imagine.
We did not laugh.
Right.
We were always laughing, and we always tried to get. Hank Azaria was the one that we called him the weak antelope on the prairie.
The weak antelope on the prairie.
Because he was easy to break. Hank was easy, but we didn't try to. We didn't do much to break it.
It just happened.
But there's a moment in. I'll just go on with this. But
All good.
Prince Herbert's father, who was me. I'm this gigantic Scottish Northern Englishman, and Prince Herbert, who's a little effete with a bow and arrow, and there was a line that Christian Borle had, and Lancelot says to him, he's like, "Well, these are nice curtains, aren't they?" And he says, "Aren't they lovely? I just found there was this clever little shop on the Thames." And then that was the end, and then I'd interrupt them. Well, Hank's last performance, everyone loved Hank and his final performance, so all the girls in the ensemble were off stage left, and he has to break through these doors. He has to stab Michael McGraw and kill Michael McGraw, and then kill David Hyde Pierce, and then run up the stairs and go like this. And then like, my dear, my dear.
Right.
Like that. And so all the girls in the ensemble decided that was a great time, stage left, right in his eye view, to take off all of their clothing and stand in the wings just like that. All just what God gave him.
Why, yes.
And Hank bursts through the doors, and he sees this out of the corner of his eye. He looks over, and he loses his mind. He forgets everything. He forgets everything. He forgets to kill Michael McGraw. He forgets to kill David Hyde Pierce. Then he runs up the stairs, and he realizes it. Then he runs back downstairs. In the meantime, David Hyde Pierce and Michael McGraw said, "All right, we'll kill each other." And they run into each other, and they fall and collapse. That has happened. The girls are still off stage left, just going, like that. Whoa. So he runs up the stage, and Hank, it's his last show. He doesn't know what's happening. He's
Right.
Like,
Chris, what do we think about this?
What have we done? Holy.
You have a show to do.
Lay off, I'm starving.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. This is a
Holy cow.
Okay, let's try it, shall we?
God. Oh God.
Oh my goodness.
Look at the cream.
Mm-hmm.
I just take one out. Oh. Oh my God, that's good.
This is really good.
Holy moly.
Get some with the cake.
I want to get some of this cake. Hey guys, it's a marble cake. It's with cream and strawberries and pistachios. It is out of this world.
It's amazing.
And I have a show to do.
What a way to get ready for a Thursday night show.
I'm Ernest Mendez, damn it.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining
Joel.
me here at Carmine's.
Come on.
This has been the best. We ate, we chatted,
we chatted.
we had this strawberry
is-
shortcake.
Ah.
Yes. Make sure you guys go see him as Ernest Menville in Death Becomes Her on Broadway, right down the street from
Right
Carmine.
down, it's right over there.
Right over there.
Right over there.
Chris, thank you so much.
You're welcome, my friend. Nice to see you.
Great to see you.
All right, let's eat.
Let's dig in.